Okay, welcome back to the last and final part of how to resole a shoe at home with no heavy machinery, hand tools only. So we're going to start this stage by first taking our Vibram outsole and, as we've done before, sanding it down with our Dremel to give it some tooth so it sticks. Often with these rubbers you might want to use a primer on it to get a better bond, but we find using the glue that we use, which is the Rainer Cologne multi-purpose adhesive, it sticks fine without. But make sure your surface is nice and clean after you've dremeled it and you've got rid of all that rubber dust. Step 2, we're going to take our shoe, place it on top of the outsole, and using our silver pen we're just going to mark a line drawing around the shoe so that when we come to glue it on, we've got a guideline for where to place it. So drawing those fitting points around the shoe, and then we're going to glue it. So like we did before, we're going to do 2 layers of glue. Whenever we're resoling or putting an outsole on a shoe, just to be sure, we always give it 2 layers. So you're going to do your first layer on your shoe and then your second layer on your outsole. You're going to let that dry for 3 minutes so it's touch dry, and then you're going to give it another layer both on the shoe and the outsole, and then you're going to let that dry as well, and then you'll be ready to apply and stick them together. So once you've left your glue to touch dry, it's now time to reactivate it. We'll use our heat gun and we'll just give it a quick hit of heat and just heat that up, and then it will be time to apply the shoe. Make sure you're taking it nice and slow and easy, and make sure it's even as you place it on. Once it's placed, just run around the edges and make sure there's no gaps. Just press in firmly, put your hand in the shoe and press against it, and then you're going to take your hammer and just give it a hammer at the bottom, reactivating the glue even more, just making sure that bond is safe and secure. It's now time to cut away the excess outsole away from the shoe, and then we'll be finished. So you're going to take your knife. You can use a Stanley knife like this, but it does have a tendency to snap, but it is useful because it's a long blade. You can run it flat against the randing and you can cut it away. So make sure if you're using a Stanley knife, you've got a fresh one, so you've got a nice sharp blade and you can work your way through. You can use the excess here and just start to pull it away. Just keep your fingers well out of the way of the knife. And also, just for safety reasons, make sure you're pulling the knife away from your body, that if you pull through, it's not going to get anywhere near your legs or your arms or your body. So just go nice and slow. If you're having trouble with this, you can heat up the rubber with your heat gun just to make it a little bit softer, but just work your knife through it. This is one of the very satisfying parts of the process, and you will find it's a little bit tougher on the heel as the leather gets a little bit thicker, but just go nice and slow. The less times you can take your knife out, the smoother your cut will be. So do heat up the leather if you find that it helps you. So just work your way around and you're just going to take it nice and slow. Now it's time for the last and final step. We're just going to finish the shoe so we've got a clean edge along the outsole. So you're going to take your Dremel and you're just going to work your way along the outsole, just smoothing any of those miscuts that you've got. You can see here as the Dremel passes through the rubber, it gets rid of those knife marks and it leaves a nice smooth edge. You want your rubber outsole to be flush with your randing, almost like they look like one piece. So just run your Dremel along, and there you go. That'll be the last step, and you've just resoled your first pair of shoes. And there we go, we made it. We've reached the end. We're glad you made it this far, and we do really hope this was a useful tutorial. If you give it a go, please share your work with us, tag us in a post or story, and if you have any questions, queries, don't hesitate to ask, leave a comment. We're big fans of this trend, as repairing shoes and all products that we own is part of a more sustainable future. We'd love to see more brands design and manufacture shoes that are made to be repaired, and we're looking forward to seeing how this trend evolves and grows. Good luck resoling.
I just messed up.